The turbo still don't like me, but whatever. She'll have to run until she explodes. So yeah. Anyways, it's 8:30 at night. I guess I probably could have taken that home, but I don't know. So I flipped everything, praying that we don't get any freaking rain. They're only saying 40% chance, but God knows that's probably not going to happen. But so we flipped everything. I did all this in one day, and it's what I said. It was 8:30, didn't I? Yeah. I started at I wanted to get out by 1, but then at 1:30 or 12, 8:30. So I didn't really get out here until like freaking 2, because it went to go see what the bull's doing, the little baby bull. Made sure he hadn't escaped, and then took the door off the 15, and then yeah, it took a while to even get going. So I didn't really. I was supposed to get started until 2, and it's 8:30, and I'm just done now. So, and I'm having a hell of a time getting this shit to roll over. I mean, it rolls over once you find that sweet spot. It seems to roll over, but every now and then you get like a chunk that won't roll over. So it's basically like a damn brick. And then it flops back over into the fucking wet side again. So, kind of got a feeling that's gonna have to get flipped by hand. I'm just seeing here. This is what I flipped first, and yeah, this is good to go. But I didn't even know if I was going to do it all or not. I was thinking maybe calling the young guy around 6, just to kind of get his input on it, because all this hay's been flipped, so you better come with 2 balers, because it's going to take 2 balers to get this shit up off the ground. Well, that's good enough. See, this is what I don't like. Like, see, it's all just one big block. Of course, there's some that are way worse than that, and those won't even fucking roll over. You got some that are like this that are just big old blobs. And yeah, I don't know. I guess you probably could bale it, but he was thinking this would have to sit for tonight and then try tomorrow. And it's kind of looking like that. I don't know, this hay has just been pounded, you know, so sometimes it rolls over like a block or like a brick, and it doesn't dry. Or, well, it won't roll over sometimes. Yeah, that's way too damn wet. That will be dry by tomorrow, I can guarantee you that. But that's too wet to bale. Ah, fucking rain. So, yeah, this hay is just, it's gonna be a fight right to the bitter end. I hear an airplane. Yeah, there it is. So, yeah, that's another wet wad that never dried because it was on the bottom. I don't know. It's almost like it's gonna have to be flipped again. I mean, it might dry out quite a bit because who knows when he'll get here tomorrow. So I don't know. It's questionable. Like, this was the stuff that was flipped first, you know, to the east. I worked my way to the bush. So this should have been bone dry. And it has dried out. I mean, it's way better than what it was. And it was soaking wet underneath. The problem being, let's see here. Here's a wet wad. I mean, I don't know. That's a soaked wad. So that's at the top now, so that'll dry out. But I mean, I think as long as you probably had mostly dry hay, you probably could mix the wet in, and it would probably, you know, it would dry out and it'd be fine. But I don't really want to take that risk either. I mean, we still got tomorrow yet, you know, that this will dry out. But like I said, we have areas that just can't see them. Well, they're around here somewhere. Yeah, kind of like right here. It's like it's just like it never rolled over. So it'll look something kind of like that. It'll just look like the way it was when it was freshly cut. Because for some reason it never rolled over. It tried to roll over, but then failed. And that's sopping fucking wet because I mean, I don't know. You can't fucking bale that. It's too wet. I don't know. We're going to have shitty hay this year because I think what's going to have to happen is this hay's going to have to sit longer. And that wet wad, I flipped it over, so now it'll dry out. But there's many more of those. I can't do nothing about it. It's hard to figure out what the rake wants. Soaked. Fucking piss. I mean, it's not drenched, but it's still wet. So, I don't know. Talk to the young guy, I guess, tomorrow again. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. You'd have to let it dry out, you know. But it's not going to dry out much more now because the sun's already hitting the tree lines. But it did quite a bit of drying in the, you know, a little bit of time that I was out here. Well, I was out here most of the day. I took off at 4:30 because at 4:30 I got done with the square field. You know, I'd be surprised from 2 o'clock to 4:30 I got this whole square field done. You know, that was me going non-stop. I wasn't taking any breaks. I wasn't stopping to do anything. It was just non-stop going. Because I was hoping that this would have dried out enough that we could have baled this tonight, but not going to happen. The young guy said when I talked to him at 1 o'clock, he said that he was going to go flip his alfalfa because that got drenched as well. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave the rake down here for tonight anyway. And then, I don't know. I mean, it'll probably dry some more. What we need is some goddamn wind, and we're just not really getting it. It was windier earlier. Like you were talking almost, maybe almost close to 10 miles an hour. But that was the gusts. When you had just a normal wind, it was only, when you had a normal wind, it was only about maybe 3 to 5. So, there wasn't, the gusts were nice, especially when you're in a cab with no air conditioning. So, the only time I got wind in the cab is when I was heading south on a windrow. Going north, I wasn't doing anything. This is where, I don't want to say a tractor without a cab would be nice, but I'm saying a tractor with just a ROPS. And International did that. I think it was only on their 886 you could order. Oh, and their 786s too. You could order them just in the ROPS, meaning it had no glass, so that would have been really nice down here, no matter what. So, but unfortunately, yeah. What are you gonna do? You just gotta have air conditioning. I don't know. It would have been kind of interesting, I guess. I think if we were to have done this with the the 400 would have no trouble pulling that rake, but I think the A would also have no problem. But the A, the hitch is so much lower on that, so I don't know. Whenever the great grandparents raked hay with that, I imagine they did use it a little bit before they retired, but I imagine they pulled it with the 400, so they didn't have to, mess with the damn jack. And that jack's not really adjustable. It's not like the ones you need. I don't even know if that jack is original, but it looks original to it, but it doesn't have a crank on it, so, but it's got some kind of a spring. So I'm not really sure what the spring's all about, but I don't know. It is what it is, unfortunately. So I'm done. There's nothing left to rake unless we have to rake it again. But it would dry out. It's going to dry out more tomorrow, because if he doesn't come until like 1, you got those morning hours, which even by 10 o'clock it can be fairly warm out. So, but tomorrow it's only supposed to be 86, I believe. And then kind of going down from there. Then the next day I think they're talking 76. So we're gonna get a break from the heat. So I don't think this is gonna bring any storms, but they're saying there could be a 40% chance right now, which I'm not really seeing. It's been mostly sunny. I would say about 98% sun. There was, I think, around 2 or 3, there was a little bit of clouds to the west. It was covering up the sun, but over here to the north it was clear, which was nice. But I was hoping there wouldn't be any more rain. Not even a spit. A spit wouldn't do anything, but it's just, I don't want it. We got 1.5 inches. That's good enough. The water barrel at the farm is plumb full. That's the first time it's been full all summer. That water barrel is what we use to water our garden, so we don't have to haul water from the house, but we've been having to haul water from the house pretty much up to this point. Like I said, we've had a couple of good showers to where you didn't have to haul water for, a good week or two. And this year, you're talking at least another good couple of weeks before we'll have to water again. But at least this time we could get it from the water tank. So, but what are you going to do? So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, everything's going to dry out but the areas where the hay refused to flip. I was having kind of a hard time. And then there was times where it kind of just kept doing it. So I was like, well, maybe I'm using too much of the rake. I'm just, I don't know. You think I would have had it kind of pinpointed to what the rake likes, but it's picky. It's just like, it's all got to do with the ground and mostly the hay, and then how the rake is, what part of the rake you're using. I've tried using just the very tip of it. That doesn't really do anything. A lot of the hay will just kind of flop back over. And then it seems like if you use too much of the rake, it flops back over, because it only goes like halfway and then it flops back over. It's like, I don't know. Is it the speed? Maybe I'm going too slow. I don't know. It was better last year. So I'm thinking the reason why I'm having such a hard time with it is because it's wet. It's all turned into like a big brick. So it's just a fucking nightmare. The only thing they could do, which is going to be a major pain in the ass to them, which they're not going to do it, you could just bale what you could bale and then leave what didn't flip over, leave it. And then I flip it again with the rake. I was thinking maybe doing it by hand, but that's a lot, because some of them are, in some windrows, that spot where it didn't want to flip over is like 20 feet long. In some places, it wasn't playing nice, so it was really being a nightmare. But as it kind of got more towards the fence line, it was doing better. I think that might have been because maybe I found the sweet spot for the rake. I don't know. But then I took my break. I stopped at 4:30, didn't get back out here until 6. Probably didn't get started until like 6:20 again, because it takes time to, get everything going again. So, I don't know. It's just, it's been a struggle. And I'm glad it's over with. But I'm worried about those spots that never rolled, because they're not going to dry out worth a shit. They might, because now they've been loosened. It's not pushed into the ground like it was. So maybe the wind will get through it and dry it out. I kind of doubt it. They might be better off not coming until 6 with both balers. I think if it ain't done by 6 o'clock tomorrow, then I don't know what to tell you. It would need to be flipped again, and that would be the first time in history that I would have to flip our hay twice. We've never had to do it out of all the years that we've been using this rake. We've only been using this rake for what, 4 years? 5 years maybe, if even that. I don't really know, but it hasn't been very long. And yeah, I've never had to flip hay twice. And they're not talking any rain now, hopefully for another few days, so maybe if it sits, it'll dry out some more. But man, I am getting irritated with this. I mean, yeah, you can't control the weather, but fuck. That half inch, if we just would have gotten that half inch, it would have been okay. It probably would have dried last night by itself, like it never would have never had to been flipped. But since it wanted to fucking rain hardcore on us, yeah, it screwed us over. And I don't know if it's even going to be ready tomorrow. I doubt it. I'll come back out here again around 1 or something, unless the young guy calls me and says they're here bailing, but I don't plan on coming out now until 1. And I'll check everything again, especially those areas that haven't even flipped. I don't really want to drive down here too much, like especially where even where my trail's at, because I got a lot of loose hay on the trail, so I want that to get baled up. So I'm just gonna stay out of it. But when you flip this freaking hay, it looks like you got mountains of hay. I mean, it looks like you might get 1,000 bales off of this. It's not gonna happen though. It just looks like it because it's all loose now and been fluffed up and it's not pushed into the ground. But fuck. Yeah, I'm glad I'm done raking. I got it all done in one day. I didn't even know if I was gonna get that far. I thought maybe it's just stopping at the fence line, the old fence line, and calling it a day, but then I didn't really know. I figured if they would come with both balers, maybe they could bale it all in 1 or 2 days and be done, but I don't know. I was even kind of thinking, not that it would happen, but I figured if this stuff in the square field would be good to go by now, and if the young guy didn't want to come down here and bale it, I would just kind of hint it at him and be like, well, then let me bale it, because I want to get done. It's irritating when you have to kind of work around the young guy's schedule. I mean, we have to, no matter what, because we don't have the equipment to do it ourselves. But they got so much of their own shit to do, and but it doesn't really matter, because the young guy even said too that it probably would not be ready to go by tonight. I kind of think it would have been if those other little bits of hay would have flipped over instead of rolling back over onto their wet side again. I think it would have went. But given that we had a lot of spots that didn't want to roll over, and then there was even some little places that looked like it did roll over, but yet for some reason they're still wet. But they're not soaked like the non-flipped parts. So, but yeah, I'm kind of irritated, I guess. What are you gonna do? I think we would have been done baling by now if it wasn't for that fucking rain. But I don't know. Given how I flipped that stuff earlier today, the east of the square field, and it really isn't dry, I don't think it's going to be ready by tomorrow either, because it needs, again, it's mostly just those spots that refuse to flip over, so what are you going to do? Just do the best that we can, I guess. I would have cut this hay back in June when we had all that fucking drought. But then knowing how bad my luck is, it probably would have started raining in that week that I wanted to cut hay. You know, it just seems like whenever we try to put hay down over here, it rains. But I don't know. I don't think we've had this bad of a rainstorm in quite a few years. When there's hay in the ground, I mean, we've had enough. Yeah, that's gonna shut you down for the day, but you always could have came back the next day, you know, and bailed it. So it's just kind of, it's fucking frustrating. It's what it is. So, but yeah, the front lawn or the grass at my place is definitely, well, it's grown quite a bit, so it needs to be cut, but I'm not going to cut it until the weekend. And the weekend's not all that far away either, so it can fucking wait. I don't know if that needs to be cut. It didn't look like it. I just did that. So I don't know. I just hope that I gotta fix my fucking thing again. I don't know. It's kind of just getting to be fucking bullshit, but what are you gonna do? It's not wanting to dry, but I guess we'll try it tomorrow. See if we can get it to dry out tomorrow. It'll definitely dry out more tomorrow, but how much, I don't know. And what I'm mostly worried about are those areas that refused to that just refused to flip. So, but other than that, I'm done. I'm going home. I gotta fix my thing on my blazer again. It fell off, but whatever. So I don't know what to tell you guys. So I just hope that if it can go tomorrow, that they can bring both balers down here and just go to hell on it and be done with it. You know, just go like hell and be done. Because then it's bad enough that after this sits for a couple of weeks, or even probably just a week, I don't know, then I gotta start, you know, rolling this stuff up. So, and unfortunately, the young guy still never did ever fix the fork or the mover that broke, I guess, last year or whatever. That's the one that I like to use. I'm not using that fucking spear. But the young guy said he's borrowing the neighbor's bale mover. I guess they have one. It's probably different from this one, but it's still a bale mover regardless. It'll still do the same thing. Because for us, that bale mover works the best. For me putting up the hay at our place. Out in the field, it ain't gonna matter. But for us, it does. And last year, we ran 2 tractors, and that was kind of just stupid to do, but we did it. But then I can really only move as fast as my uncle would move, because he would only want to do so many bales and then call it job done. And it's like, you know what, I could haul another 1,000 bales the time, you know, the time he felt like going back out and doing more. So the mover is the only way that we can go, or the only way I can go, because there isn't going to be that much hay to do this year to put up. There's going to be a little bit less this year, because if you guys remember that stuff that we raked over on the North Dakota side, a lot of that, I guess, was CRP ground, which I didn't know. I thought it was just regular ground, but it's fucking CRP ground. So it means you can only cut the bullshit every 3 years. So it's going to be another 2 years now again before he gets to cut it. So there's only going to be this, the cemetery field, the ditch field, and then that little bit underneath the bridge on the North Dakota side. And that's it. So, but there's going to be a lot of hay here, but I can only move so damn fast. If I had a loader on the front on the 15, I could move 2 at a time, but I don't know. So, whatever. Anyways, guys, I'm going to take off and we'll do stuff there now. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to take off. So I guess I have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.